Hi everybody, thank you for coming here tonight to listen to me talk. And my name is Christina Santiago, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about something that's very important to us as individuals and to society as a whole. But before I get started on that, can I just see by show of hands, how many of you have dogs as pets or have had a dog as a pet in the past? Yeah, me too. Dogs are great, they're great companions, and if you ever sit and watch them at home, they can be very entertaining. I know one of my dogs has a chew toy, a bone, that he loves to run around with. But most of the time, it sits in a corner behind the couch and it collects dust for days and weeks, and he won't look at it until the other dog comes in the room. Then he's all over it. Then it's, don't look at it, it's mine, don't sniff it, don't go by it, don't even walk in the same room as it, it's mine, mine, mine. And you look at them when they behave that way, and it seems like they don't want to share, and they're being a little selfish, which is very amusing when you see your dogs behaving that way. But it's not so amusing when we see people behave that way. And unfortunately, that is one of the traits that we see in human beings, and especially in young children, because they believe the world revolves around them. Now, I've seen that a lot over the years. I've had 3 children of my own. I taught in a preschool for 10 years, and I coached children's sports teams for 15 years. And in those years, I've seen and heard a lot of things that children do. And I see that some of you here are at that age where you're thinking about or planning to have children of your own, and some of you have preschool children in your family. Now, all of us, me included, would love for our preschoolers to behave like these two and be sharing with one another and caring and loving. We do not want to be that parent in the room whose child is running in screaming, mine, 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 and fighting over the teddy bear. But why do they fight over the teddy bear, and why do they behave that way? Well, when we think the world revolves around us, we don't care about other people, and what we're showing is a lack of compassion. And compassion is being aware of when someone else has a problem or distress and caring enough about them to want to help them with it. Now, one of the problems when we don't have compassion and we don't care about others is that it leads to problems in society. The University of Michigan did a study, their Institute for Social Research. For about 20 years, they studied the different young adults at their college campus, and they found a 40% decrease in young adults that were compassionate for others. Now, with that decrease in compassion, there was an increase in selfishness, in narcissistic behavior, in individualistic attitudes, and in competitiveness. And they saw an increase in those things more than at any other time in recent history when they did this study. So what causes us to be that way? If you look at any television show, the movies that are out, any songs on the radio, none of them are teaching or spreading the message about compassion and love. Most of them are self-centered and selfish motives that you'll see. Patrick Fagan, who is a PhD with the Heritage Foundation, had an article come out in March of 1995 on the real root causes of violent crime. And he studied violent criminals that were incarcerated at the time. And what he found as a common thread with them was that there was an absence of love and of affection and of dedication in their early infancy years. And that led to them not having the capacity to be compassionate and empathetic towards others. So what can we do about that? We see from that lesson that they need to be taught compassion in their early years, from early infancy until about the age of 5, because 80% of your brain is developed by the time you're 5 years old. So that's a very small window in which we have to teach our children to be compassionate and to have caring feelings for other people. So if in this society that we live in, everyone values the shiny, sparkly things and they want a certain lifestyle. So a lot of households have 2 parents that are both working to maintain that lifestyle. And then you have other households that have a single parent household where they have to work just for their family to survive. But the common thing there is that all of those children from both those different types of households have to be cared for by someone, and they end up in daycare centers and in preschools because the parents are working and taking care of the family's basic needs. So you have preschool teachers who, trust me from experience, do not do it because of the money that's involved. As a matter of fact, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics reports that most preschool teachers start out making $17,000 a year, and that is barely enough to survive on. Meanwhile, a bricklayer or someone who lays tile floors starts out making about $38,000 a year. So that goes to show you again what society values. We want the pretty floors and the big pretty house, but we're not valuing the children and teaching them to be compassionate and the people that teach them to be compassionate. The 1990 New Jersey Teacher of the Year, Mrs. Foe, was quoted when she won her award as saying, "I don't see how I can be value neutral in the classroom." And Jerry Howard, the 1995 Massachusetts Teacher of the Year, said that the daily lessons on values are taught with the little interactions every day between the teacher and the student. Preschool teachers teach our children in place of the parents when the parents are at work. And they do so with reading and singing and laughing with the children and having the children being in an environment where they're able to ask questions and talk to a loving, caring adult, and they see that behavior modeled by a loving, caring adult. Now, if our children are not being taught compassion and not learning to care for others, what is going to happen is that the next generation that comes up is going to have even more problems than the current generation is having. We're going to see more increases in that selfish behavior. We're going to see an increase in single-parent homes. We're going to see an increase in crimes. So while it may seem like a problem on a family level, it's actually a problem on a societal level because it's going to affect everyone at some time or another. And if we're not careful and we don't teach our children to be compassionate and to love other people, we're going to end up with a whole generation of people that are screaming, "Mine, mine, mine," and this whole generation is going to live by the creed of the toddler's rules. And the toddler's rules say, if I want it, it's mine. If it's in my hand, it's mine. If I can take it away from you, it's mine. If I had it a little while ago, it's mine. If it's mine, it must never appear to be yours in any way. If we're building something together, all of the pieces are mine. If it looks like it's mine, it's mine. If I think it's mine, it's mine. If I give it to you and change my mind later, it's mine. And once it's mine, it can never belong to anyone else, no matter what. So I thank you for listening to me tonight, and I hope I spread some light onto the importance of teaching our children compassion, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Thank you.